part. She got in shape for it. She definitely brought good emotion to it. Um, Pretty solid on her part. For me, like the one little detractors for me are just involved the story mostly with her character, but we'll get to that shortly. So I'm guessing you really enjoyed her as Laura.
I did. Going into it, I thought I was going to hate the movie. Going to be perfectly honest with you, because as he said, you know how I feel about the first two. I'm going to leave it at that.
And it's a video game movie.
Yeah, so I was also always worried about that. But actually, I think this is one of the better ones, and that's not saying much, but it is certainly one of the better ones. And I think just overall, she portrayed a more authentic Laura Croft than I think even me or anybody else can even admit, because I didn't think Angelina Jolie, not going into it too much, she didn't seem to, I don't think she cared about the part, to be honest. I don't think they made her look like Laura Croft, and I think Alicia Vikander definitely portrayed her as good as anybody could have.
So, and then let's get to the villain of this. I'm not gonna remember his name, but
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins,
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of Quentin Tarantino stuff. Hateful Eight.
And he plays actually Matthias Vogel, who's actually an enemy in one of the games. I'll put that out there.
Yeah. So, if I'm assuming you remember the game pretty well, how was he as portraying that character?
In the video game, he was definitely like a hardened mercenary. He was definitely one of the leaders of the, the group. And I don't know. In this, it was kind of weird. I thought it, yeah. I don't know. He seemed to question his actions. Just seems to question his actions a lot, and I know that was not what he was like in the video game. And I don't know.
I kind of felt like he was just trying to be bad, just to be bad. They tried to make him to be like just heartless, that he'll just kill someone just randomly and stuff. And they try to have like this factor of him wanting to just go back to his family, so that's why that he's doing this gig. I still though felt like they didn't write enough kind of redeeming factors for him, mostly because towards the end he's given a decision with this ultimate power, and they see what it can do, and he still has no problem taking a piece of it, which I was kind of like, really think about it, guy, really think about it. For me, some of the small issues I had was some stuff in the plot itself. Mostly because since I've not grown up with these games, I haven't played the new ones. To me, it's kind of hard to get into this character because it's basically like Indiana Jones, except in this case, she's definitely comes from a rich family. It's kind of clever that they don't want her to want to have it, and she just tries to make it out herself, without it. But it's still gonna come back to that, and to me it can kind of feel like that it's another kind of privileged white girl that can kind of go and do these adventures and stuff. And for it also to be an technical origin story, but from what I've also heard, this is kind of a combination of the two games in some way. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah.
They really go over the origin stuff, but they then kind of cut back to her trying to deal with some stuff for the first time, like when she kills for the first time. That was actually pretty good. Or when she gets injured, even though when I watched that I was like, okay, she needs a little bit more injury, just saying. And another kind of little dig for me is that while some of the effects are pretty nice, they're pretty great looking, there's some pretty bad ones. I felt like some of the small, simplest ones didn't even need to be special effects, and that was like the explosions, like at the site. Those just could have been explosions. They could have just done it practical, but they still did CGI, and it looked bad to me. I don't know if I want to get into this because it's kind of a thing, but without saying what it is, basically Laura hears information from a certain key player in this early in the film does not do it, and just takes this information and goes on, and it's like, oh, well, you kind of just added to the shitstorm by doing that, which it kind of took me back to Last Crusade from Indiana Jones when he gave his journal to Marcus and he didn't get rid of it. But that's Indiana Jones, and I kind of can forgive him for that. And it's not like he's handing it over right then. They have to go find him, but that's a whole other story. So yeah, this was not in any way a terrible experience, but to me that there was, as far as with the story, it had some generic feeling parts to it. How did you feel about the story?
First of all, I'm going to say that certain movies that are based on video games don't actually feel like you're watching a video game. This is absolutely 100% feel like I'm watching the video game, and 100% felt like I was playing Tomb Raider, which is the way I think it should have been.
And Spit has joined us.
Well, hello.
Hey, buddy.
I thoroughly enjoyed, actually, because I know a lot about Richard Croft too. Dominic West actually thought it did a really good job as Richard Croft, unlike a previous person in the other movies. I'm not going to go into the story because you guys still have to see it, but I don't know, his emotions I thought were great. I thought him and Alicia had a really good chemistry. Outside of that, not too much, but even I admit that. But as far as the story goes, at times it kind of got, far-fetched, which,
Oh, it does.
I don't know if I know they were going for that because, a lot of the video game is kind of far-fetched because, Lara Croft can get away with about anything, which is fair. But, I don't know. Like I said, I was going into it not thinking I was going to like it, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So, as far as, an experience I think you should go to the movies to see, I absolutely do think you should go see it. Regardless if you go see it now or you wait and go see it cheaper, I think it is worth a watch. I know they were going to continue because there was a secret at the end I'm not going to give away, but a certain character from the game series comes into play, and let's just say things all go to shit.
Well, and that was, to me, watching it just as a film, felt like that was just like kind of thrown in there, like, oh hey, yeah, there's gonna be a sequel, but we'll see how this does making money, but it's doing pretty well so far. It actually has apparently beat Black Panther for the first time for a Friday. But
I guess the first movie that has beaten it in a while, right?
well, yeah, but we still got the whole weekend to go, just for a Friday. It's beating it. But now here's the next ultimate question: does this bring back the video games to become movies?
As a whole, no. Absolutely not. But I think it's a start. And if they want to start somewhere, they definitely should have started with Tomb Raider because it's one of the biggest series of all time. Goes back to the PlayStation. I think it's a step in the right direction. No offense to the older films or the old Tomb Raiders, but let's just say most of them are not good. Actually,
no, most of them are pretty awful.
Yeah. So I think this is a step in the right direction, and it kind of makes me wonder who is going to be in the sequel.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Let's see what else could. For me, this is just me. The most memorable thing in this movie was not a main character at all, and that was Nick Frost.
Yeah.
In his
he was
2
good.
parts, he's the most
Three.
memorable thing. 3 parts, yeah. He was the most memorable thing in this because he was hilarious.
He always is.
And at first when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, what are you doing in here? And you were entertaining, so applaud on your side.
I'll throw this in there too. You had more stuff from the games, the actual authentic games. You had the cassette tapes I listened to. You had the ice pick, which is a big part of the game that came in towards the end of the movie. You had the weapons. You had the puzzles. You had everything you wanted from the game in the movie. And I will also throw that in there, that you will be thoroughly enjoying the experience through, your experiences playing them as a kid and as a grown-up. I think it's pretty authentic the way they did it. It just wasn't a fantastic movie, and I wish it would have been.
Well, again, this is a video game turning into a movie, so we can kind of only expect passable at this point as a high mark. But again, I feel like you also have to ride that line of trying to appeal to the gamers and the ones that don't and just are wanting to see a good movie. And I felt like this was close to the middle. I'm still gonna say they're leaning a little bit heavy on the gamer side, but
Square Enix.
and I mean that's just the one fault that I can give it, but it's not a gigantic fault. It's just that I don't play them, so I guess it's fault on my part.
It's the fault in your stars.
Yeah, fault on my stars. So since you're the big game enthusiast, and you were, like how you mentioned, not really actually looking forward to this, what is your final grade?
You know what? Surprisingly, this is in the, well, I should say the Stuckman grade area, and I'm going to give it a B as well. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think it gets a little higher grade for me because I didn't expect it to be good at all, for that matter. And the previews didn't really look that, interesting to me. I'm sure it didn't for you either.
Nope.
So, as far as being a video game movie, Alicia Vikander playing a good Laura Croft, and I thought Dominic West did great. I think this, like I said, this sets up for a good future in the video game. Hopefully, and I would give it a B.
Yeah, falling on those parts, still considering how I felt about some stuff. Because I got a little bit more than what I thought I was going to get, I'm going to give it a B as well. It's probably the closest and actually a good adaptation of a video game. Again, not coming from a
Not
video
saying
game,
much.
but we'll see if they try to actually, I hopefully go a little bit more towards the middle, trying to please everybody. Yeah, it was not an awful experience, but it was not a waste of time.
And say, hey, an 80% is good with me. That's a B, so
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
So yeah, that's been our review of Tomb Raider. What else do we have coming up soon?
I'm just going to mention first, they have started casting, speaking of video game movies, for Uncharted, which is, many of you know, and many of my friends know, that's my favorite game series of all time. The first casting they had was the small Nathan Drake, or the kid Nathan Drake, and it's going to be Tom Holland. So I'm really excited for that, and excited to see where they go from there. Seeing this, hopefully this train keeps rolling for video game movies. And coming up, we have Ready Player One, A Quiet Place.
Yep, looking forward to those a lot.
Yeah, me too. Steven Spielberg hopefully makes this a masterpiece because it has all the lookings, like I said, visuals of a masterpiece. So.
Well, again, just watching the trailers, I'm like, yes, I get the nostalgia stuff. I just want a good story.
Yeah, I know.
And apparently there's actually a lot more to the actual novel than what we see in the trailer, so hopefully it's in the movie.
And Quiet Place just looks interesting as hell to me. I think it looks different. Is this his first directed movie?
Yep.
First directed movie. Hey,
comedian,
last year we all
horror.
know how our boy Jordan Peele did and Get Out. So first time, and then of course he's probably gonna have good chemistry with his wife, Emily Blunt.
Well, we hope.
So please.
Reason not to.
Horror has not been good this year. Please.
That you've seen.
Yeah. Well,
you've not seen the really.
I've not seen some of them, but what I've seen has not been good.
Then we have Deadpool coming up. And
Oh God.
Infinity War, which I finally just saw the trailer.
That trailer almost made me have a heart attack. Thanks, Damon Anderson. Plugging you.
So, yeah, and you got God of War coming out.
God of War, April 20th. Super Troopers 2, April 20th. I cannot wait for that.
420.
All right. Makes perfect sense. They did it on purpose, obviously. Okay. But I do recommend watching the first one. You probably don't have to watch the first one to watch this one, but I do highly recommend the first one because it's a really funny movie.
Yeah. From what I remember, it's an enjoyable watch.
And it's just dumb, and it's dumb fun,
dumb fun.
which is amazing. That's what I love.
So, yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Don't know exactly about my personal stuff. I'm kind of working on, I'm trying to decide between, older films and stuff maybe to go back to, but we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, other than that.
We may actually start, I thought about the idea yesterday of doing reaction videos to either music videos, trailers that we haven't watched. I thought that would be a pretty good idea because it seems to be a hot topic right now on various YouTube channels.
It's going to be me figuring out how to do it.
I could probably throw in a little help.
We'll see. But yeah, so other than that, it's been Gaio Loco. You can find me at Twitter at GaioLoco89. Ian Novak on Facebook, and that's all I'm giving.
Nickerish Chicken, of course. You can get me on Nick Wood at Facebook. You can get me Nickerish_Chicken87 on Instagram. You can get me Nickerish Chicken on Twitter, and that's all I'm going to give out. Because the rest of my life is a secret.
Sure it is. Because you just gave out how many social medias?
3 out of like 7. So we'll go from there.
Well, till then, see you guys next time, and keep going to the movies.
Give them your money.
Because they want it, definitely.
Yeah. Even for the bad stuff.
Especially the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.